Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We're going to get started here. There's still some folks who are making their way in. Thank you for coming out this evening. It's hopefully an exciting time for parents because it's getting close to the end of the summer. Exciting time for the kids. But I always like to do this because this can be kind of a daunting task when you think about it, especially if this is your first child coming to our middle school here. It seems like such a large complex. It seems like, where did the time go? What's going to happen? I guarantee we'll take good care of them. But can I see a show of hands? Where are my veteran middle school parents? The folks who've been there, done that. Put your hands up high, right? So we have a few. So the folks, if this is your first go around, see these folks, those are the ones you want to make friends with as you're kind of walking around. Because I'll tell you, it's interesting. Middle school is great. They call it the Wonder Years for a reason, right? We wonder what they're doing. They wonder what they're doing. Everybody kind of wonders. But it's okay. We've got the most amazing kids that have gone through our schools, that are going through our schools, as well as fantastic involved parents. So thank you. My name is Jack McMullen. As the shirt says, according to what the secretary made up, we're doing some cricketting this summer, as you can see. I am an educational rock star, not only a principal, and we have a lot of folks that are with us this evening as well. The teachers who have given up time from their summer vacation to be here. Our assistant principal, Mr. Jefferson, is here as well. We'll hear from him a little bit later as well. So the presentation, we are live streaming it, as well as we will send this whole 37 slides to you. We'll be emailing that out to you as well. So don't feel the pressure of taking notes. There will not be a test on this. Maybe, no. But I do want, again, thank you in advance for all the things that you've been doing all the way along to get the kids to this stage. Anyway, middle school is a great experience. It is an absolutely incredible experience. You're going to see tremendous growth. You're going to see interest emerge. You're going to see things you're going to be exposed to, part of this is exploration, things that maybe you didn't think you were interested in, that suddenly becomes a passion for you. So it's fantastic for us as adults to work with these kids every day, to see that genuine, to see that spark, and to see, as they say, when we talk to folks, some of the time, like, I've met my best friend in middle school. We have lots of testimonies like that. You find like-minded, you go from smaller confines of the elementary to much larger, lots of activities in addition to what we do during the course of the day. There's a whole second part of the day. But I do want to acknowledge you met them on the way in, Ms. Sealy and Ms. Margo, main office secretaries, many of them. Some of you know have been in contact with them. Great source of information. If you have a question or concern as you move through this school year, just call us, let us know. An unvoiced concern can never go unanswered. So please, as I say, ask us. Our school counselors are here as well today, Ms. Earl and Ms. Alexander, as well as teachers are there. When you exit for your portion of the program, and this is a little combination of an overview of some information and key things, such as kind of what you need to know now, and most importantly, how the heck are we going to open those lockers? So we have a little combination activity set up. When you exit, when it's your sort of group's turn to get out there and try those lockers, you'll see a gold, this is white, I know, but there's a gold paper that has listed on it kind of some drop-in locations. We have Ms. Madden, our librarian, here today. If you need to chat or just want to introduce yourself, and it'll list the room numbers that she's in. We have some teachers who are in a room that are ready to answer some FAQs, frequently asked questions for you as well. PT information is there. We will be helping them, and maybe not all, most of these little drop-ins are going to be right around the classrooms on their second floor. But on the first first floor in our neighbor office, if you need help with the Genesis Parent Portal, which is the way that you'll be able to follow your child's progress, their academic progress, their attendance, kind of listed, and things like that. We have our folks downstairs helping. In the envelope that you received, there's some information there, there are calendar, some things that you might want to stick up on the refrigerator, but if you haven't ordered the gym suit yet, there's a form in there, the pre-order, the statement under a PE teacher right across from our main office where the entrance to our gym is. She'll take those forms from you tonight as well. And we're here next week as well before we have a little time before school begins. So I'd say you can also walk them in, drop them into the office, and take any of those things from you as well. So there's some drop-ins that are set up here. We're going to run through this information that's being projected here. Again, just to give you that overview, to hopefully make it a little bit more comfortable, and then we'll be kind of having half of the folks heading out to check out the lockers, try the lockers. Parents, if you want to go with kids and try to help them try the lockers, absolutely you can do that. If you want to stay and relax here, you can absolutely do that as well. We will have members of our student council here tonight who will assist students with lockers, locating the lockers and things like that. We'll also have teachers dispatched around the area as well to help. So sixth graders, your lockers are going to be on the third floor. And on your schedule, that nice laminated schedule that you have there, you'll see highlighted a number that sort of gives you the location, the locker number, and next to that, you'll see your combination. So we're going to get you through that. And I guarantee you have my money-back guarantee that nobody ever leaves the middle school without knowing how to open their locker. Okay? That's what we call the gift of giving. So that's what we're looking at as we say. We'll split it up. Mr. Jefferson, when the first group leaves, he'll talk a little bit about our cafeteria and how that goes. Normally we do that presentation in our cafeteria, but we are still in the midst of kind of finishing up some things through the summer. So cafeteria is not available. We have some pictures there as well. Excellent. Taking that next slide. So there's the drop-in information that's on that gold sheet there. Taking that next one. So this is the real key takeaway that I want not only the kids but our parents to understand. This is the whole process. Right? Everybody has a first step. Now, if you're in the work world, and then you may at one point have had that new employee orientation, might have been a day, it might have been a week, might have been 2 weeks. And then when you actually start the job, it's like, what the heck? Right? It's okay. That's what we expect. It's a transition. We call it transition camp for a reason. It's an ongoing process. There are folks who want to know everything right now. We can give you lots of information, but as I say, our focus is what you need to know right now. And as I say, part of the struggle is to learn. The whole productive struggle kind of is okay. So if you have a question, we want to also let you know. Asking is a good thing. You don't have to kind of feel like we're the only one who is having that issue. So our real growth, our core beliefs here are kind of that idea of growth mindset, right? Yes, yes. You're going to get it. You will get it. You might not get it. Don't compare yourself to other people. So we're opening our lockers later tonight, and hey, your friend got it on the third try, and it took you 4 or 5 or 6 tries. That's okay. That's all right. We're only measuring ourselves against that. So as I said, you're not going to know everything on day 1, day 2, day 3. Questions are always welcome. They're encouraged. They're expected. And keep in mind the power of yes. We are going to get this. The resiliency that you have developed over these last few years, that's going to come in really handy for you as well. And as I say, we are a group that encourages empathetic. We've all been there and done that. I'm going to tell your sixth grader, because we have some new students here, seventh and eighth grade as well. If you're a sixth grader, I'm going to give you a little secret. The eighth graders who are coming back this year, they don't know at all, because they've never been in eighth grade. It's their first day as well. So keep that in mind. Dr. McMullen has been doing this for a long time. This is my first day doing this with you. I know a lot of the parents in here. I've worked with some of their other children, but I've never worked with you. So we're all going to learn together. We're all going to grow together, and that's really important to know. So what happens day one? What happens when you come in on September 6th? So you're going to come in just like you came in tonight through the doors on Eldridge Avenue. You're going to go to your homeroom. So as you're kind of walking around tonight, and you're on the third floor, and you're looking at where your homeroom's located, that's where we'll return on Tuesday, September 6th. We're going to hold that homeroom for a fair amount of time. So if you have friends here tonight who couldn't make it, we have some other folks who are kind of dropping in and doing some self-tours later this week because they are away. Let them know. We'll have another copy of the schedule for you available, just in case you forgot it. When you're in that extended homeroom, we'll have some things that we'll be going over with you. Guess what? We'll be practicing the time in the locker room as part of that. And then instead of normally seeing all 8 periods, because all of these days, that first week or 12:35 dismissals. We won't be serving any lunch those first 4 days. But then you'll get to go to your first 4-period class. It's really kind of spend a little time getting to know the teachers in that. So let's start taking the next slide. So that's kind of the breakdown for you. Remember, you'll have all these slides emailed to you, so you can just see kind of what that looks like. As you come back on Wednesday, day 2, gonna look pretty much like day 1 did. In the homeroom again, if you have a problem with the locker, if you have something you're not sure, the homeroom teacher's going to be right there. We're going to do a lot of problem solving to make sure things are working the way they should, because again, even though we spend a lot of time preparing all summer, there's always going to be a little glitch here or there. We expect that. It's not going to be the end of the world. We're going to take care of it. We're going to solve problems. So if you run into anything like that, you'll let us know, and we will help you out. So then we just run through periods 5, 6, 7, and 8 on that second day of school, similar to what you're doing. So over the course of those first 2 days, you'll have a good amount of time in homeroom to take care of any problems you might have, any questions that you might have, and then a pretty good, significant amount of time with each of your teachers over those 2 days. That's what that looks like. Moving on, if we look at day 3 and 4, so now we're getting to Thursday and Friday of that week. You guys are going to be so excited at this point, right? You're like, oh, I love school. Do I have to go home? Yeah, I have to go home, but you're going to love it. So now we start to try to get back a little bit into what we're doing. It's still a 12:35 dismissal day. So we'll have our homeroom, which is normally that length of time, 12 minutes, and then we're going to go through all 8 periods. They're only about 30 minutes long. And what we want to do on that day is really start to do some team building, because we're bringing together folks from 6 different elementary schools, even more because we have some students who transferred in from out of state or from out of the area. And we want you to kind of get to know each other as well, because that's one of the greatest things about middle school. And my own daughter went through middle school here, so here's the story that will make you feel better immediately. When my daughter was in 8th grade, or going into 8th grade, I was principal at Sharp School. Our superintendent at that time said, you know, I'd like you to go to middle school and be the principal. And I said, you know, my daughter's going to 8th grade. Could we leave you? And he said, no. It'll be fine, he said. So, being a good soldier, I went, and it was fine. Although we had different views of the day, when I said, wasn't that the coolest assembly you ever saw? Her name's Mel, and Mel said, it was so lame. But the good part because guess what she does today? She's a teacher. I know, right? So it's all good. It works out pretty well for us. But so that's what we're looking at. We're trying to build team. We're trying to build sort of that a little sense of community. So as we get to those last couple days of that week, 12:35, on that Friday, we'll also have some time with Mr. Jefferson and myself. We'll bring the sixth grader in here. We'll have a little meeting with you guys. We'll talk to you so you can have questions. We'll be with 7th and 8th graders. So we're looking to wrap up that first week in kind of, in a good, a good mental space. You feel like hopefully you've had your questions addressed. You've had the opportunity to kind of interact in that way. That's going to take us through that first week. Then September 12th, that's when we're going to start our full days. So our full days end at 2:32. Lunches are served as part of that. And as I say, you'll still have your homeroom every day, and you'll have your lunches beginning on September 12th. Is there a next one? So again, if you want to come into the building for breakfast, 7:30, walk through the stores, go straight ahead. Our cafeteria is on the first floor, and you come in for our breakfast. We'll be serving lunch. So breakfast will be starting on the 12th. You'll attend all of 8 classes. The classes are 41 minutes in length. Your lunch is 25 minutes, and we dismiss at 2:32. So that's what our schedule looks like, and I highlighted in yellow kind of what a 6th grade schedule would look like, because you see in the whole schedule, 4A, 4B, 5B. What does that mean? Don't worry about that, because they correspond to the other sort of grade level lunches and things like that. So for a 6th grader, you're going through your homeroom. Here's 1, 2, 3. At 10:27, you go to the cafeteria. You have a delicious lunch, either lovingly prepared by mom or dad, or you can purchase, of course, here as well. Then after lunch, you go to period 4. We call it period 4B, but it's period 4. And then you continue with 5B, 6, 7, 8, we have to skip for 2:32. So that's what it will look like. So you'll hear the bells, and we signaling passing by bells. And in the beginning, we might also make a couple of reminders. Hey, that's now time for 6th grade lunch, so you guys will know. Okay? Okay. All right. So I did want to take a pause here, and I want to introduce you to our counseling department. I'm going to ask Ms. Earl to come forward and say a couple of words.
I'm actually going to pour audible and let Ms. Alexander. Thanks, Ms. Earl. Welcome, families, welcome, students, and parents. So I'm Mrs. Alexander. I am a school counselor here at the middle school. If your child's last name starts with A and K, I am the counselor. But I wanted to let you know about a little transition that is happening in our counseling department this year. So I am leaving Collins Middle School to pursue. I know I hear the awe. I feel that way too. It's a wonderful school. It is hard to leave a place that you feel so great about, but I'm moving on to a different field. And I wanted to let you know that, but I wanted to let you know that if your child's last name starts with A through K, they will have the benefit of working with Ms. Calloway, who will be our new school counselor along with Ms. Earl. So there still will be 2 counselors in the middle school. Ms. Calloway will come in. She's wonderful. She's experienced. I feel really great to know that she'll be here as I'm stepping away. So I just wanted to make that announcement. And again, Ms. Earl will be there. We have the emails are here. If you take a peek up at the screen, they're also in your packet. So at any point, parents, 6th graders, email us if you have questions. I'm talking about even after tonight. If you have a question tomorrow, if you have a question before the first day of school, email myself, email Ms. Earl, and we can help you with anything. The counseling office is a really great place to kind of start when you have a question. Even if you don't have the answer or we're not sure, we're going to lead you to the right person. We're going to lead you to the person that can help. Okay? So Ms. Earl, do you want to jump in? Is there anything you want to say? let's just say hi. So if your child or if you students have a last name that begins with the letter L through Z for the end of the alphabet, I will be your assigned counselor. But Ms. Alexander and I have always worked really closely together. Our office is very cozy, like nice tight space there, so we are very easily able to work closely together, and this will be the same when Ms. Calloway steps in. So if whoever you're seeing when you walk through the door, you can ask questions of any of us, so we're all there to support, and we do work together. If one of us isn't available and the other one is, then we step up to help. And same for you, parents. I mean, if you have our names on that sheet and you're not sure who to reach out to, just take an email, and you can just reach out to us, and we will get back to you. Like Ms. Alexander said, I think parents typically find that school counselors are good first person to reach out to us if you're not quite sure. If it's not a specific teacher question that you have, and you would just reach out to the teacher. If you're not really sure who to reach out to, we're a good first point of contact. Because I know I will just say, I'm trying to talk too long. I feel like my years of experience here, I feel like the toughest transition, or maybe the one that comes with most anxiety, is 5th to 6th grade for those 6th graders in the audience. And that goes for parents as well. And first I'll just say, it will be okay. It's really a great experience throughout middle school. I think that's the toughest one because we're really preparing you for what's to come next. So I just want to normalize that, say it will be okay, and you have a lot of support here from all of our staff, counseling office included. Okay. I think I will leave it at that.
Okay.
Here.
Thanks, Ms. Alexander. Thanks, Ms. Earl. And our school counselors work very closely with Mr. Jefferson and myself. We're in constant communication, so we kind of feel like sharing information and trying to get as responsive as we want. So that's one of the things that we really try to do. Right. So back to the nuts and bolts, and I agree with Ms. Earl, it's going to be okay. Ms. Earl did mention that she actually went through the middle school year and looked.
And I made it.
And she's okay, right? So just keep that in mind. But we have a fantastic staff. I've said this before that I've worked in education for a long time, and I have worked in middle schools where the staff in the middle school kind of waiting for an opening at the high school so they could get out of middle school, because sometimes it's challenging with, say, development agency. That's not the case here at home to middle school. We have people who absolutely love working with this age group and do a phenomenal job. So collectively, we see just about everything and we address just about everything. So I hope that gives you a sense of confidence that this is your first child through. So back to the nuts and bolts. How do you get into the building in the morning? Just like you came into the building today. That's why we wanted to sort of make sure we use those entrances on Eldridge Avenue. To come to breakfast at 7:30. Normally we open the doors at 7:50 for regular entry, so you can get your locker and get the homeroom. You want to be in the homeroom by 8 a.m., but then that time is considered late. Now again, secret in the beginning, we're going to be very kind of mindful that you're still navigating something. So don't get too concerned at that point about you know, you have a locker problem or things that it gets to be communicated. If you walk in and let your homeroom teacher know that you have a lock open, there's a problem with it that we can help you with. So please be communicative, because the thing that happens, of course, this is eventually can add up once we start counting it by latency coming out. So we don't want that to affect it as your attendance. The dropping off and pick up. So Eldridge Avenue is the space to do that. The police don't want you stopping on Collins Avenue. I can tell you, if you've been behind the school at dismissal time, our high school is right next door as well. It can be a little bit congested, so we just want you to be aware it's a one-way street. if you're driving down that street, please be careful because there is a lot of foot traffic with our students leaving as well. We have some yellow curbs that are painted out there right behind the middle school, but you can park anywhere along Eldridge Avenue. Even if you pass it and park behind the high school and kind of work that out. So you may want to, as parents, if you're doing the pickup, especially, that might be something that you kind of have to do a little trial with her. We have folks who park over in the park and just tell the kids, hey, meet me in the park, or let's park on the side street, walk over through the kids, of course, can walk to school. We are a walking district, but they may ride their bikes as well. We have a bike area that's located near the Irvine Gym, our high school gym, right between our middle and our high school. We just ask that you make sure you lock your bike up. So have your bike locked with you. And there's an area fenced in for where you can bring your bike to do that. There's an accessibility ramp, handicap accessibility ramp. We don't want folks kind of locking their bikes up there because that also would interfere with the accessibility for folks who need that ramp or on fences and things. Again, if you run into a problem for some reason, if you forget your lock when you rode your bike in, come to the office and let us know that, and we'll take care of your bike there. But those are the things that we want to make sure. So yes, you can ride your bike to school, you can walk to school, there's groups that kind of meet up and walk together. Chromebooks. So Chromebooks, we are in a transition, just as you are as well with our Chromebooks. So more information is going to be coming out in the next week with the IT department to be able to fill in details, but we are looking at, just as in our elementary, having carts and Chromebooks in classrooms for easy accessibility for students, so students don't have to transport a device back and forth. And then what we found over the years is that's where a lot of accidental damage occurs, whether your backpack, you drop your backpack, cracked screen, those kind of things. So we're looking to make it easier for students in that respect. So we have things that we're doing with returning students, we're recollecting Chromebooks and things like that. You still have to fill out a Chromebook agreement. There is a payment form online for Chromebook insurance. We're asking at this point, and we will communicate as soon as we have a little more clarity from our IT department where we're going with that. Our understanding is that kids who need devices at home, so you may have a work computer, maybe your spouse has a work computer, you don't really want kids on that because they don't have a computer at home. They need to have a device. Then there will be a process in place where you basically signing out a Chromebook, keeping that one at home, with the work that will be done at home, and when they come to school, each classroom will have that accessibility for them with a Chromebook. So in case of way, I forgot my Chromebook's on charge, I dropped my Chromebook on the way to school today, and it's cracked, and we're hoping that will be a beneficial move for our families as well. So as soon as we have more details on that, we'll communicate that to you. A couple of things that you want to do, and there's some information in the envelope that you received as well. So there's some forms that you need to complete on Genesis. So if you don't have Genesis set up, we have a drop-in station down in the office where will help you get set up with Genesis. And once you complete online, and this takes away all of the paper things that we had to do in the past as parents, you complete that information, and once that's completed, that kind of opens up your access to Genesis. So if you try to get into Genesis and for some reason you're blocked, it could be you have a form that you might have to fill complete here. For incoming sixth graders, there's some updated immunization records that we're going to need to have us send those in. And thank you for all the folks who are sending them in as well. All right. Contact information for our school nurse is listed there. Again, you'll have this slide and all the information sent to you. So if you have any questions, if you have, if your doctor needs to pen fax something or updated records, the fax number is there as well. So what do you bring to school each day? So I would recommend, of course, easily transportable classroom supplies. There are folks, and I'm being facetious, but especially when it comes to decorating the locker place, I'm going to need a chandelier and a shag carpet. So when you're walking in, if you saw the lockers, they're not very large, are they, right? So easily transportable. A lot of things are happening via our electronic platforms. So we have some information out there as far as supplies, school supplies recommended by the teachers. We're looking at some notebooks, pens, pencils, binder, if you want to call that in and things like that. I highly recommend that reusable water bottle and those labeled with your name, because last year we had like 1 million water bottles that we don't know who they belong to. So if you bring a water bottle, we have touchless water filler stations, so that can be with you all day long. Message to our man, and to kind of teach you in class as well. Like, God, I'm thirsty. I go get a drink. Sure, that's a good idea. Reusable water bottle. Hand sanitizer stations are mounted throughout the building. We encourage kids to use them, especially if they on their way in for lunches and things like that. Laboratory use. I've included a picture of that sink because it's like magic. So on the second floor laboratories here, there are foot pedals there, so that's also touchless as well. And when you get in there, so to wash your hands, you step on those pedals, much like an operating room in a hospital, and the water will flow. So when it's time to use laboratories, just ask the teacher. They'll give you a pass. We have our second floor laboratories that are designated, kind of monitored by staff. So we use those laboratories during your scheduled lunch period. We use the laboratories down on the first floor, right, adjacent to our cafeteria. And that's again with the number of students in the building trying to manage our flow of use of facilities. You have to visit the nurse's office if you're not feeling well. Again, just let the teacher know. They will give you pass. Get you to the nurse's office. Get to the nurse's office if you're really not feeling well. They may call out to the office or somebody can escort you there. And when you go, you say you should probably bring all of your belongings, because if you don't get back to that class, remember you have 8 different classes. It's easier if you probably just bring your belongings with you, and then you don't have to worry about that. Quick reminders for parents and guardians. So if you want to come to those, so just call, make an appointment if possible. If it's an emergency situation and you need to come in, by all means. But we want to try to give you the time and make that do you. So appointments are requested, so we can do that for you. If at some point text help is required, there is an email set up there that will take you directly to our tech department there. There's our contact numbers for our main office there, if you need to reach us there. Genesis Access, we talked about that. There's a couple of tutorials that are posted here for how to use Genesis. If it's first time, there's one on how students can use it. There's one how parents can use that. A little shortcut there to the Genesis Parent Portal. If you need help with that, as I said, the ceiling is small, we'll be in our main office, and you can drop by this evening, or you can drop by anytime. We'll close tomorrow and anytime next week as well. And there you go. As I mentioned, there's lots of great activities that occur here. Besides our sports and things like that, we've got some other awesome and amazing clubs. So we included in the presentation a link that will take you to a sampling of our clubs, everything from trek boards to Pioneers Club. This year we had an esports team, very competitive, but lots and lots of interesting activities that a lot of times generated by student interest. Students come to us with an idea. If we can find a staff member who can kind of supervise that, we're good to go with that. So take a look at what we're already kind of offering out there. And think about other things that you might be interested in. Maybe we can offer that as well. And it is definitely a great place to connect with people. Little locker information now. Let's just take there. So how do you open your lock? There's some directions right there. You clear it, you start at 0, right, left, left, right, left, right. When you go left, you go past the first number, the second number, turn that dial, you pull down the lock and open. Because the next slide, I believe you're going to see it actually works. Watch carefully. This is not a trick. This has not been edited in any way. This is Mrs. Sealy, who also went to the middle school. And look, she can open a lock. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Wow, right? Right? And now I understand why people like TikTok. Right? Wasn't that great? All right, that's good feeling. That is also included for your viewing pleasure when you send it out. All right, on that note, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Jefferson, and we're going to say if you are in last name, student last name, L through Z, please exit the auditorium. Try your lockers. Parents, if you want to go with them, you are welcome to. If you want to hang out here, you are welcome to. We're going to ask you guys to kind of make your way back here, because the next presentation for lunch will start in about 20 minutes.
Please hang in the auditorium to hear lunchtime information from Mr. Jefferson. And last names L through Z. You may check out your locker, do one of our drop-in sessions with our teachers, the librarian, student council. If you need any help with Genesis parents, you may come to the main office, or if you have uniform pre-orders.
All right, good evening, everyone. As stated by Dr. McMullen, I am the assistant principal here at Collingswood Middle School. My name is Mr. Jefferson. Some of you may have older siblings or relatives or friends who have gone to the middle school before and are aware of who I am. I just want to welcome you and thank everyone for their time and coming out tonight and showing us how important your child is to you. Cafeteria protocols process, not something in depth. I think Dr. McMullen really just wanted an opportunity for everyone to hear my voice and make sure I earned my money tonight. And I think he felt like just hitting that button, it's not like Roger White, hitting that button was going to make me earn my money. So, lunchtime protocols, prior to what I like to call great disruption, we actually had 2 lunch periods, and it was really crowded in there. We modified the schedule, of course, with protocols, and we've decided to maintain 3 lunch periods now. In the past, when we had 2 lunch periods, of course, there were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all in the cafeteria together. Now we're actually going to have grade level lunches, so all 6th graders will be eating lunch together. We do ask that this is something that we kind of adopted years ago. I took a group of individual staff members and we visited another local middle school, a school that you call a peer school. A peer school is a school that's very similar to yours in demographics, similar to your community, your school in numbers. So I'll give you an example. A peer school for us would not be Marlton Middle School. That would be a peer school. So we visited a peer school, and we noticed that there were no book bags on students. And I can tell you, in some of these older buildings with these narrow hallways and these small classrooms, has anyone ever been wiped out by a child with a backpack? Like they just, and they will take you out. So we kind of have a rule: if they like to use a small drawstring bag, they can. Like we said, I don't want to give my age. The days of carrying 5 or 6 textbooks, those days are over. Mostly everything that your child does will be electronic. There's no need to carry a book bag throughout the school. When students come to school, they will put that book bag in their locker, grab a few things that they need, and they will proceed throughout the day. But those big book bags will be, it's a school rule, will remain in the locker. So we also ask that they don't bring anything electronic, no Chromebook. Of course, I'm relearning because now Chromebooks will be in the classrooms, but no Chromebooks or backpacks. If they do have items, books, or anything that they do want to bring with them that they're planning on reading or going over some homework, come in, set that down in the place that you would like to sit in. Kind of reserve your seat, and you will go up to the cafeteria line. There are 2 lines. You can pick any line that you like. Some students bring their lunch. If you bring everything, you can just go sit down. If you're going to grab something, we ask that you put everything down. I guarantee you will spill something if you're trying to carry your books and carry your lunch tray. Those are not, we all know the hefty commercial, right? They are not hefty trays. Okay, they will, if you put a potato chip on, too many potato chips, that tray will bend, trust me. So, just a reminder, I know in the last few years, federal government lunch has been free for everyone. I feel like they hit us with the big switch. Lunch was free for 2 years, and all of a sudden I got an email, and the price of lunch went up. So lunch is now $3.75. Reduced lunch is now, there is no reduced lunch. There is just full price lunch or free lunch. So everyone is required, whether you're bringing lunch, whether you're not, everyone is required to complete a lunch application. They are online. Just, if you'd like to, you can also put money on your child's lunch account. I'm pretty sure, because you're at elementary also, correct? Okay, so it's going to be the same way because it is the same private lunch provider. And if you'd like to bring your lunch prior to going to lunch, you just go to your locker, retrieve your lunch. So, parents, we have about 142 students enrolled in 6th grade this year. It actually is one of the lowest numbers that we've had in a while. I'm pretty sure as these last 2 weeks come, we have a lot more students who will be enrolled. When we made some modifications to the cafeteria and bought a few tables and added things, we actually are at a point now where we really shouldn't have any more than 5 or 6 students per table. Really still give students the ability to spread out. Yes. And so this is kind of what the cafeteria looks like. You'll come in, you'll grab a milk, you'll pick from your items, and then there's a cash register there. That was quick. Students, you will need to know your PIN numbers, and that will be something that you will get in homeroom on the first day of